What the architect designs, the builder gives shape. A shape made up of many small parts, each playing an important role in the look and feel of the finished building. In print, it happens much the same. What the designer creates also takes shape from many small parts, each dot playing an important role in the look and feel of the printed piece.
Could we maybe get some contrast between the building and the sky to make the building stand out a little?
The builders of a printed piece are the prepress craftsmen. Prepress craftsmen transform design, copy, illustrations, and photographs into printed reality. They do it by performing a number of operations, including color separating, retouching, stripping, image assembly, off-press proofing, or printing of a press proof. To better understand this process and all its changing technologies, let's follow a prepress project as it evolves from design concept to customer acceptance.
So we're all right with the basic format?
Oh, yes.
All right.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about a few specifics. Paper. What kind of paper are you thinking
Well, with
of?
the 4-color, I would suggest we go with a glossy stock.
From the very beginning, prepress firms can have a big impact on the success of a project.
That's standard.
Many say the biggest impact.
How about the printer? Have you given any thought to that?
Well, actually, we've just begun that process.
I think we're examining several different options right now. It all depends on the cost.
Right. Well, absolutely. Let us know as soon as possible, too, because we have profiles on the different printers and we can design this specifically for them.
It's this kind of experience and customer support that separates full-service prepress firms from low-end
Okay.
prepress
Any other
service
questions?
bureaus.
All right, we'll be in touch.
Thanks for coming in.
Don Greifenkamp, Vice President, Print Production, J. Walter Thompson, Chicago, Illinois.
We're trying to execute what we feel is excellent creative quality. Consequently, we must have the best quality of reproduction possible. The way we get that is by using the quality prepress houses. We used to get 7 or 8 days to produce something that we're producing in less than 24 hours now, and it's becoming commonplace. It doesn't make a lot of difference to any of our clients simply because of their pressures, what it costs. We use constraints, of course, but most of them just say, hey, we've got to get in the marketplace and we've got to get this work done. Consequently, I've got to use people that I can depend on to produce that quality material that we need for our quality clients.
Bonnie Axthelm, Vice President, Media Networks Incorporated, Stamford, Connecticut.
We print in 3 different locations. We print for 150 markets for 30 different magazines, and ultimately probably 60 bindery locations. So when somebody sends us film, it's a contract to deliver a certain expected product. And the advertiser isn't interested in what the logistics are of how we get this done every month. They just want to see their ad in Time or Sports Illustrated or Fortune appearing as they intended to appear, appearing the way the film was prepared. The high reputation trade shops understand M&I. We've been around for 23 years, so they know exactly what our business is, and they work with us.
Stephen N. Stifler, Corporate Manager, Package Design and Development, Miller Brewing Company, Philip Morris Incorporated, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Well, as I'm sure in a lot of other companies besides Miller Brewing Company, we put a tremendous emphasis in our marketing efforts and our objectives and strategy at providing all elements of our product and their presence in the marketplace. When you put those kind of stringent objectives on any criteria, whether it be packaging or point of sale, the upfront emphasis demands that the follow-through in terms of pre-press, production, and execution of the field be virtually flawless. You have to rely on the people in the business and the people that have the expertise to execute programs from a design stage through production implementation with and absolute control over that translation.
William W. Smith, Director, Engraving and Printing, National Geographic Magazine, Washington, D.C.
Well, the pre-press operation is absolutely critical to the final result, as we're the step between the photographer's techniques of film and the printer's ability to render the job in multiple copies, for in that case 10 million. And if the transition from the photographer's film to paper, which is the separation technology, if that isn't the best it can be, the job comes out in a relatively poor fashion. The printer has no ability to improve the pictures in terms of the color variety, color density. The separations establish that quality, the sharpness, the shape, contrast, and color variety of the picture are all established by the color separator. If he does a superb job, the printer can then reproduce it for a superb result. If the separator does a mediocre to poor job, the best the printer can do when he puts his expensive ink on his very expensive paper is to reproduce the mediocre job the separator gave him. So the quality aspects of the job are critical in that separation phase. It's mandatory to get it right there because you can't possibly get it right later.
Let's take a look at that.
The client made some suggestions as to opening up the face of the building as well as the bottom part of the transparency.
When a project comes to a pre-press firm, the first step is planning and scheduling.
And, I'm going to need to see some looser scatter color on Wednesday, and I need to see a composite proof by Friday.
Okay. Yeah, why don't we pull the digital on it as soon as we get it scanned so we can see scatter color on it right away with the digital.
Great.
Color images in the project are sent to be scanned. But first, the operator evaluates the image to plan how he should set the scanner controls.
Yeah, and then what I'll do is I'll pump up the coarse detail on it, which would give them the color that they're after.
Okay. Now, what kind of turnaround time were we talking about?
Oh, I think this afternoon would be no trouble.
Perfect.
The scanning process separates the image into the 4 colors needed in the printing process: cyan, yellow, magenta, and black. Despite the impression that powerful modern scanners have made it easy to produce a separation, getting the best quality reproduction takes a great deal of experience and finesse. The operator needs to set a series of controls for sharpness, color correction, tone reproduction, gray balance, gradation, gray component replacement, and undercolor removal. The operator will also adjust the scan to meet the specifications and needs of the printer. The image can also be converted to digital information for electronic retouching. With the image stored in digital form, a skilled electronic systems operator can retouch to make changes or corrections. Once changes and corrections are made, 4 films are produced, each with a specified screen angle: cyan, magenta, yellow, and black.
Hi, Kevin. More emery?
Text is then added. At a full-service pre-press shop, this can be done either electronically or manually.
Maybe I can lay the colors anyway and get that in, and we can come back later and pick up on the correction.
Yeah. Much more efficient and cost-effective to do these corrections on the table versus electronic.
Right.
The right people with the right skills. That's the experience that separates. Once the film has passed final inspection, proofs are made.
They're all perfect.
Seems like the black is still hot on that side and that side, so I guess we'll have to bring it down some more when you run again.
Okay, we'll get that.
Building the best quality printed image takes a big team of experienced specialists working together, working hard. It's an effort quality-conscious customers appreciate.
It goes back to the partnering aspect. You have to have somebody who can meet all of your needs. It's a broad spectrum of problems and opportunities that come up every month, and you've got to have somebody you can rely on who could react to all of them. I mean, we've had situations where somebody in our pre-press operation has actually caught errors in one of our advertisers' ads and saved the day by calling us immediately and saying, we're going to have to get some type in here or change the misspelling or some problem. So it's that kind of relationship that you count on.
We look at our support people externally, whether it be pre-press or designers or printers, as a partnership arrangement. We feel that there is both long-term and short-term benefits from that attitude, and again it comes back to some of the things I've discussed earlier, knowing the industry, knowing the product, and basically having a commitment there to go just a little bit farther than just providing a one-time product to us.
A lot of printing buyers tend not to be appreciative of the cost of the separations relative to the other costs involved in a job. And in an advertising slot in our magazine, for instance, a page could easily cost $100,000 or a lot more. And if an advertiser stints on his cost of separations, pays a couple $100 for a separation for a very poor result versus $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 for a terrific result, the overall cost of the job is almost the same, but the effect on the page and the ability to sell the product is much diminished because the separations were not what they should have been in the beginning.
When we make material, while we know where it's running, just because it's running in a trade book versus a national publication where the space cost may vary between $2,000 and $150,000, we don't make lesser quality material. We have too much at stake as an agency. We deliver a product, we deliver a quality creative product. We are not going to start looking for bargains because the two go hand in hand so tremendously that it's important that we get the same quality, that the agency is viewed as delivering the same quality for whatever product we're developing.
But is this commitment of people and expertise out of date? Isn't pre-press technology replacing the need for pre-press experience?
Oh, you need both. The technology is wonderful, and you can have the hardware stacked to the roof, but if you don't know how to operate it properly, you won't get the desired result. And one of the things you're paying for when you are using a high-quality, reputable separator is the skill of the people to render whatever original you provide in the best way possible on paper. And in today's world, that means electronic separation, electronic correction, electronic manipulation to be sure that the picture gives everything that the page and the ink on paper will allow. You need also a very specific skill that is not easy to find, and that is the people who are doing these corrections have the ability to look at a picture in its first proof stage and not make comparisons to the transparency only, but to look at it with the idea of what can be done to make the picture serve its purpose best. And that's an acquired skill that takes time to generate over years of effort. But with someone who can look at a picture, not see so much what it is, but what it should be, and take the appropriate action in terms of the four process colors, that's a very important skill, and one that's hard to find and very hard to develop.
I think that the pre-press house in the final product will probably continue to make it more profitable for us to buy it outside than it is to buy it inside. In addition to that, I don't think that an agency, most agencies can support a complete pre-press system that they're currently configured.
Let's look at how changes in technology are changing the role of the pre-press operation. With the advent of desktop technology, designers are called on to try to do more and more of the production and pre-press duties. They are not only specifying type, but also doing the typesetting. Not only choosing photos, but also positioning them electronically. With all these added responsibilities on the designer, the experienced pre-press operator becomes an even more essential resource.
There's a few problems, though. We need to get back to them. They need to give us a little bit more information on what they want. There's a color in here that I think they want to be a spot color, but they didn't tell us, so we're going to have to call them up and find out.
Okay, that's no problem. I can do that right away.
The pre-press area is definitely one of the first mechanical stopgaps for a program. It is essential that things be evaluated, key lines, transparencies, system files, whatever are involved with the program, be heavily scrutinized by the pre-press house to cover any potential mistake or error or omission that might be involved with that, because it just is going to snowball from there downstream.
Desktop technology has revolutionized how printed material is designed, but it hasn't changed the need for experienced pre-press services.
Most of the good pre-press operations know the printers and they know what their capabilities are. Our situation is a little bit different in that we print just advertising. We don't have editorial. So we can't favor an ad behind black and white editorial to enhance the color if the film isn't properly prepared. So there's that extra dimension of the people who are supplying the materials understanding what our parameters are as well as what the printers are.
Building a high-quality image demands the skill and experience you can only get with an experienced pre-press professional on your project. At every step of the process, from concept and pre-planning, scanning, retouching, stripping, image assembly, film preparation, and proofing, every experienced pre-press professional serves as a quality watchdog, making sure your image is the best it can be.